25. Great to see you all. Happy New Year. To those of you that we have not told that to.
How are you?
Happy New Year. When I was at my church, I used to like to start off the year with them by saying, if I've done anything to offend anyone or to hurt anyone or to turn anyone on, please forgive me. Pray for me as we pray for each other. That will always be the start. And I would say, come to see me at any time. So what I used to tell them, I'm telling you now. So please forgive us, and because none of us are perfect. You're all striving. Well, I say none of us. I think I see about 4 of you that are perfect in here. They're all together also. Also, Monday is January 20th, the National Day of Giving, the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. And if you have your donations that you will bring them Monday and just place them in the truly found classroom. And at the end of the day, we will divide those up and box them up and give them to the Tulsa Day Center. So in advance, thank you for your participation. We're already receiving some, and we just want to make sure you all know where to place them and that they will get to designated location. Well, today as we start, let us open up with prayer. 2025 is upon us, Father, and we thank you as we gather today for this time on you. We ask for your guidance and wisdom in all of our discussions. May we listen to those who come and present to us with open hearts, and may we speak with respect and seek solutions that benefit the truth of God's community as a whole. Grant us the courage to address any challenges with integrity and compassion as we continue to serve in the spirit of Christ, and lead us to decisions that reflect the best interest of us all. We thank you for this opportunity to come together and to work towards a better future. In the name of Jesus, we will pray. Amen.
I'm not gonna have my iPad on when we're doing this, cause it's, we'll have to close it. I don't think mine in up there.
Gathering is laps. It's always good for a couple laps for us, so we appreciate that. All right, well, welcome. It's great to see everybody. We've got another packed agenda for you today. I want to welcome all of you in person as well as those that have called in on the Zoom meeting and on the phone. So welcome all of you. So thank you. We always want to start out with our recognition. That's such a great thing that we do here. So we want to recognize our January stars. And okay. Oh, right here. Okay. And we've got, is Abigail here? Oh, hey, come up here, Abigail. Abigail Craig is a CNA over in our memory care assisted living. And she is has been a wonderful addition to the team in here for a while now. And we were able to honor Abigail as one of our January stars of the month. She can't think of anybody that's more deserving. So we want you to come up here and be recognized. Abigail. Mindy. I'm going to give you your here. Everybody can see me. That's you. So she says, January 2025, Abigail exhibits unwavering dedication, kindness, and exceptional care, making her a light in the Barnes house. She brings comfort and joy to the lives of our residents every day, and her heart for service shines brighter than ever. She is a true star. And that was written by Brittany Tapple, our graduate assistant. So congratulations, thank you. We're proud of you. All right, in our other star for January, who I don't believe is here, correct? But we want to honor her And that was Miss Michael White. And Micah is one of our nurses, one of our LPNs over in the health center, does a fabulous job for us as well, taking care of our residents. So we want her to know later when we see her that she was honored and recognized. So let's give her a round of applause today. And as a reminder, and for some of our newer members, you can be a part of the STARS selection by filling out one of those cards that's on your chair each time you come to town hall, and then turning that into us. Who do we turn those into?
Shoot, I gotta start all over again.
Box. Red boxes around campus.
Right
If
there.
you don't know where one is, ask a concierge or ask a neighbor. There's one right out here. But we do receive a lot of recommendations from you all, our nominations. So please continue to do that. It's very, very helpful. And then I want to bring Crystal Creekmore, our Vice President of Human Resources, up. And she's got a special drawing that we're done.
Good morning. Alongside.
This computer is different than mine. I can't get the volume to change on it. It's like, I don't know how to do this one.
Employee nominations in 2024.
She's
So
fine.
those are received.
She's fine.
Other persons might come in contact with them, really want to give them recognition. So 132 nominations, and from that, he selected and honored 18 stars of the month throughout 2024. So what we're gonna do, we have a gift card and we're gonna do a drawing, and in here is all of the winners for 2024.
Good morning, how are you?
You look pretty good. Our winner is. Oh, look at that, Jacob Dillon Maintenance. Everybody turn. Oh, man.
First I thought we were
That's
talking,
good.
I was gonna be
All
like,
right, so
thank
Jacob
you.
had a $400.
Thank you.
They're so bright and so colorful.
That's fantastic.
Good morning.
Hi,
Sir.
I'm good. How about you?
Oh, yes, sir.
Just for today. Mm-hmm. I say that, I hope
No,
so.
once you've submitted the name,
never
you don't need to do it another month.
Yeah, just for your reference, so you know, when we receive a nomination, they're eligible for 6 months. We review do the names every month to determine a star of the month, and they're kind of remain in that eligibility for 6 months. So,
Good question. All right, let me give a couple other service award recognitions.
Hmm.
Here. All right. So Carrie, I saw Carrie, are you still here? Yes. Please come on up. And you all know Carrie Happy? Yes. Director of Human Services, and she's celebrating, and we are celebrating her 5 years of service. Of course, she started out as what was your official title? Executive Administrative Assistant, and then moved on and promoted over to Director of Human Services that you all enjoy now. And she does a fabulous job for us. We want to award you with your 5-year pin, first of all. And we also this time have an additional special gift for you in recognizing your 5 years of service. So there's a nice little gift in there for you. Did you want to say anything, or you? Okay.
you make my job really easy, and you make it, you and the other employees make it very easy to work every day. So I thank you all for that.
Thank you very much, Carrie. And then is Bea here? She's not here either? Okay. The other person that we want to recognize is over here, and she goes by Bea, but it's Beatrice Brown Collins, and she works in our health center as well, and she does overnight. So if she worked last night, hopefully she's gone home and is getting some rest, but she will also receive her pin, her prize, and just in thanks for her years of service with us. So let's give Bea a round of applause, and Carrie as well. Well, I'm going to bring up our Chief Operating Officer, Dennis Graham, and he's got some nice updates for us. I'm going to come back up after Dennis speaks, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our strategic plan with you. I told you that I would present upon that once that was completed for you, so I've got that prepared for you today. We've got several other announcements we'll make, and then Andy Ewing will finish us off. But for now, let's welcome Dennis Graham.
Thank you. So a couple of real quick updates. Just want to talk to you a little bit about weather and weather preparedness. As you all know, we had a 4-inch, officially 4 to 6 inch snow in the city of Tulsa, depending on where you were. We started planning that about 48 hours in advance of that event. I think we had our plan in place, and to be honest with you, I think this was probably the fastest and the best clearing operation as far as getting snow out of the way. I and Pittsburgh worked with security and they worked with our wild landscape folks. And they had a really good plan and we got that snow moved and the driveways all cleared off within, I don't know the hours, but I would say it was for sure within 24 hours. And we probably had the driest streets and parking lots in the city of Tulsa first. So, we were proud of that and hopefully it made it safer for everyone else on campus. Couple of things about weather coming up. We've got some pretty good cold snap coming through. I think Ty and Carrie have been working on getting out an announcement to let your faucets drip. You know, it doesn't take much. We just need a little bit of water flow. So you don't really need it flowing out of there. You just need it kind of just dripping, trickling. It's kind of a fast drip, just enough to get the water flowing. So, and please don't go outside and turn the outside faucets on. We've had some of that and it's helpful to us that you don't do that. There's no reason to connect a garden hose this time of year for any reason. If you need to connect one, I would say call maintenance and let's make sure that it gets disconnected because, you know, I've always said on outside faucets, winter freeze always brings the spring surprise. And when you turn it on the first time, that's gonna make a mess. So please leave those off. They don't need to drip. If you're dripping in the house, those will be in the cycle. So you'll be just fine. Couple other things, the new gated entry. Yes. 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 No. No. It's a great comment and question. The question was, if you live in Crestwood, do you need to drip water? And the answer is no, you don't need to. I should have clarified. Thank you, Robin. It's patio homes, villas, things that have outside walls to the exterior, where there may be like some of the laundry rooms might have pipes on the exterior wall, those type of things. So it's the villas and patio homes. None of the buildings really need to have any dripping functions at all, okay? In the buildings, if we're dripping, we're leaking, and we don't want that. So, that's a great one. So in Crestwood, you do not need to, or Felt House.
Yes, the last one that goes, it made it sound like drip every faucet in our house. Is it only the outside walls?
I would say a good rule of thumb is to drip one bathroom faucet and drip maybe a little bit in your kitchen. I don't think you need to drip every faucet in the house. But just a couple, yeah. So no, not every faucet. Yes.
That's right. Some of the outside faucets are covered.
That's the purpose. Yes, they're okay. Yeah, they've got over 18 inches going into the house, so we're good there. And you know, when an outside faucet's turned off, it screws into pushing the water back into the house, so it doesn't store it in that tube. But if you leave your hose connected to it, it will. You'll have an issue there. So do not do that. Okay. Any other comments on that? Okay. Let's talk about something a little more exciting. Our new entry in the gated community project. We have all the architecturals, completed through the permitting process. All we're waiting on is a change in limits of access, so we can move our exit and entrance from where it currently is a little bit further west. And once we get through that, it's in the hands of the traffic engineer, all the traffic reports, traffic plans for when we block 31st to make that cut at the curve have all been turned in, so we're in good shape there. It's a process with the city. It takes a little bit of time. There's a lot of departments that it has to go through. When it snows, they take off too. When it's Christmas, they take off even longer. When it's New Year's, they still take off. So it's just kind of getting them back into the loop. A lot of things crash down at the end of the year, and it's just kind of getting them back into the loop and getting their attention. I believe we've done that, and we're starting to get a lot of flow on inquiries and things from different departments, but and I said this before, there's about 17 disciplines that it has to go through, different departments, different people have to write off from them, and so I'm hoping I'm on the 17th person, but I don't know, so we'll see. Again, my hope is that we can get started within the next 30 days, but that's not a guarantee, that's no way we can get the permit. The road project in Villas and Patio Homes, coming really well. Weather keeps us obviously from doing a lot of work. For those of you who don't know about concrete, those of you who do, temperature's got to be around 32 degrees and rising before we can pour a big stretch. That's kind of our parameters. And we've met those on every pour so far, and it has to be that way for about we wouldn't like it for 48 hours, but 24 hours is sufficient. So we're in good shape there. Our next phase is what we follow on the map. For those of you who are following, will be phase 9. We're going to move over to the west side and get phase 9 put in. And once we get that in, then we'll move back to probably move back to 4B, which is the rest of the back. So we've got a lot of traffic and a lot of events and different things that are causing us to need to move over to phase 9. This should be pretty uneventful. I think it'll be about 3 people, 2 schools, 2 and 3 driveways that are affected. So that'll be a lot more minimal than what we will have affected when we do the next step. This is good weather on the side of the mountains. With that, I don't think I have anything else. Yes.
Shared with the people when they were clearing the snow off the roadways, but they took out the speed bumps. Could those possibly just be left in the storage room someplace? It is so nice not to have to drive across those. If everybody would drive slow, you wouldn't have those.
I agree with you, Andy. And I do agree they did take them up. But I also agree that we should have taken them up ourselves before they plowed, and that was our fault. We normally do that. It was our first snow of the year, and that was our first mistake. So Ty and I talked about that, and we promised each other we wouldn't make that mistake again. I like how you think. I think we have to put it back. If I was just talking to the campus, I think it'd be okay, but I'm not. I'm talking to a lot of people, and we're putting those in there for a lot of people that aren't here, like suppliers and vendors and family members and those kind of things. And we've got a lot of crosswalks and things there, so I think they serve a purpose. And I think it's something we need to put back, but we will Ty and I'll remove them before they plow. Yeah. Yes.
Could you give us an update on the homes that are west of the West Gate
Oh, help me
for the
understand.
refugee?
Dark. Okay. I'm not sure what update that would be, other than, I think we have, two families, three that are moving in. Two families that are moving in, those will be leased, and they'll be moving in there, I would assume within the next 30 days or so. As far as an update of what we're gonna do with any of that property, tearing any houses down or anything like that, I don't really have any progress on that. There's nothing changed. Does that help?
Heard that there was a limit of 3 years, that's just a problem, so I was just. wondering
Yeah,
about-
so I think that's kind of a self-imposed limit, but Garrett has more information. He's gonna visit with you about our strategic plan we've been working on, and he'll fill in some of those blanks, I think, with that. Yes, okay.
This exit gate has been open 24 hours a day. Is there a reason for that?
I wasn't aware.
It's always, even at night. Well, it has been for the several weeks now.
I'll just have to follow up.
It looks like it's unknown.
I'll follow up on. I'll follow up with that.
Allison, that's you, please go ahead.
I have a question. Of course. Yes.
Go ahead, Allison.
Okay. I had a question, couple of things. Did you say in Crestwood, we do not have to drip our faucets?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And my other question is, what's going to happen for my caregivers when they come, once the gated community is set up? Will they need to, I don't know how they will get in or what they'll need to do.
Yeah, there is a programming that we're working on. And once we get the programming fully established and fully developed, we will, Carrie and I will make sure that information goes out to all members, for their family members, and also the caregivers. And there'll be an easy way for them to enter and exit.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Love you. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate all that information. Let me give you a couple announcements and then let's talk about this strategic plan. First thing is we want to make sure that we always have your updated email address on file. And so if you know that we have your accurate email address on file, because you're getting our emails, then disregard this. But if you don't think that we have that, or you're not sure, contact Member Services Office so that we can make sure that we have that, because we do send out periodic, videos through email. We send out periodic notes and things like that. So you can contact Carrie in her office and get that taken care of. Couple wellness updates briefly. One is that the concert by Daniel Shea that was canceled due to the snow last week is now on Thursday, January 30th at 7 p.m. So they'll have that updated in the app and that sort of thing if they don't already. But Irene asked that I make that announcement special today, just because we got a few captives. So Thursday, January 30th, 7 p.m. rescheduled Daniel Shea concert. So please come and enjoy that. And then the other announcement is that the treasure chest is open today, right? Can somebody give me, yeah, okay. It's open today from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. in the basement of the Felt Colony area. So please make sure you visit that. There's lots of treasures there that you don't want to miss out on. All right. Well, I talked a little bit last fall with you all that the executive leadership team and the board had embarked on a strategic plan process to develop and implement a new organizational strategic plan for Trinity Woods. And I want to talk a little bit about what that process looked like with you. I want to go over the strategic plan with you and kind of, you know, give you the highlights there so that you can kind of see what we're working on and what to expect. Let me get this rolling here, excuse me. Oh, there we go. Is that me or you? That was you? Okay. You can control it, move forward. I'll let you know when to move forward, okay? Thank you. And my clicker up here is struggling. So the background, go ahead and advance one slide, Jacob. So current previous strategic plan. So Trinity Woods developed a strategic plan, the executive leadership team, the board, members, all constituents. And that strategic plan was effective 2017 to 2022. It was a strategic plan. It had some of the items in it were, you know, just for single years. Some of them were more long-range strategies, like the Dartmoor. Whoever asked that question earlier, the Dartmoor addition over to the west side, that would be an example of something that's a long-range strategy for us, and those things continue. So what I don't mean when I say that we've developed a new strategic plan is that everything that was is no longer, and everything that is going to be is brand new. That's not true. There are obviously things that carry over, right? Either that we didn't get accomplished that we still want to, or that are they're in perpetuity, or they're a long-range strategy. And so there are some things that will carry over to subsequent strategic plans, and that's true for our current strategic plan as well. So I wanted to kind of let you know that we've not been without a strategic plan. We've been operating on a strategic plan, but the board and our team felt it was time to refresh that, to update that. So I want to review that a little bit. So what it looks like for us is that we're going to have a strategic plan every year. I'll talk about the components of what that is. Some of you are probably familiar with strategic plans and that process. And then about every 2 to 3 years, the board will conduct a strategic planning retreat, a strategic planning process. Typically, that's a day long or a day and a half long exercise. There's a lot of pre-work that goes into that to generating feedback and input into it. And that will occur every 2 to 3 years. It's a little bit fluid depending on the needs of the organization. And then we will put out refreshed strategic plans as time goes on. Go ahead and advance that slide there. I want to talk about this. So how did we conduct this process? How does it affect you? How was your voice heard, families, vendors, all of those kinds of things? So kind of who, what, when, where, and why, right? And so early last fall, late summer, early fall, we began conducting what we call organizational 360 evaluations or surveys. And this was a way, there's no possible way that an effective strategic planning process can be conducted in having about 800 constituents contribute to it, right? So this is why we have processes in place, for example, for you all, like member council, where representatives and committee chairs and member council officers are the voice of the greater member population. It's the reason we have employee groups that are established and set up so that the greater voice of the employees can be heard in when we make decisions and in processes like the strategic plan. So we conducted, we have a consultant that we utilize for this. So these are experts in strategic planning and organizational processes that helps us walk through these processes. So we're not just flying blind. So we conducted a survey. The survey went out to just around about 100 people, a little over 100 people. And this included members, member councils, it included vendors, it included family members, it included employees, it included board members, and it included some donors. And those really are the people and the groups that comprise our constituents. And so through that process, we were able to receive feedback on what people want, what do they think is important to Trinity Woods and our ability to sustain good operations and a healthy mission and a good experience for our customers, so on and so forth. Same thing with employees. We were able to ascertain input that spoke to what do we want in our compensation and benefits packages? What do we want as components to our employee? Same thing with board members and family members. So there were lots of people involved in that process. So that's really kind of the who. We conducted that, we went through that process. There were lots of other components and variables to that. We compiled that information. And then the executive leadership team and the board, and I spoke about this last fall, conducted a strategic planning retreat. And that's where we really come together and we distill all of that information. We talk about strategy, we talk about short-term, long-range strategy. We talk about the health of the organization, what's going well, what's not, what are we hearing from our members, and those types of things. And that took and we had an expert facilitator at that. That took a day and a half for us, and out of that came the strategic planning task force. And their job was to then take the information from the board retreat, from the strategic planning retreat, and actually get it, you know, there's a lot of meat and potatoes in that, and actually get that to something powerful, something that, okay, actionable, that we can actually do something with. You know, we can't have 200 initiatives going on at one time, right? Because we won't do any of them well and probably not complete all of them. So we want to get it into something that's manageable, something that's palatable for us, something that we know that we, you know, can work towards and try to accomplish, but that's meaningful to our constituents. And so that was really what the task committee focused on. Again, we utilized the help of a consultant group for that. And then what was produced out of the task force committee is the strategic plan. And that's what I want to show you today is what is the structure of our strategic plan? What does it look like going forward? How does it affect you? How do you affect it? And talk a little bit about that. Let me make sure I set my notes from that one. Let me also just back up for a second and say that our current strategic plan, the one that was developed 2017 to 2022, it was really good. And it was quite lengthy. And we have a lot of things that have been accomplished out of that. And I think it's important sometimes just to pause very briefly and reflect on things that you know, boxes that you got to check off, and some of the wins that you had as an organization. And yes, this precedes me, but I just want to pause real quick and highlight some of those things that were birthed out of the current strategic plan. And one of those is we implemented our current process for member and employee survey. And there's a whole process to that. It happens at different frequencies. We take those surveys and we create action around those so that then on the next survey cycle, we hope that we see boosted satisfaction. So that was birthed out of our previous strategic plan. The CLC was birthed. The Marshall, Gaddy, and Barnes houses and the filling up of those and the opening of those happened during that strategic planning time. The moving of the salon and the reconfiguration of probably the nicest salon I've ever seen in the retirement community was birthed out of our previous strategic plan. We talked a lot about Dartmoor has been around for many, many years and what does the future of Dartmoor look like? But we accomplished a lot in that time frame with the acquisition of more of those houses over there. And then currently our Afghan refugee ministry, which I'll talk a little bit more about. And then one of the other things I think it's worth highlighting and celebrating is we went through something kind of big during that time with a name change. And so a lot of brand awareness and rebranding had to happen during that time. And that doesn't just happen. It doesn't just say, okay, guys, we're changing the name to Trinity Woods, off you go. There's a lot of strategy that has to be involved in it. So just wanted to pause and recognize that. Let's go to the next slide, David. Thank you. All right. So what does the structure of our new strategic plan look like? Well, we have arranged it to where we have organizational goals that we want to have. And these are kind of what are we prioritizing as an organization? We call them performance excellence goals. Or for those of you that like acronyms, PEGs. You can say PEGs, and me and Dennis and everybody know what it's talking about. But we have PEGs, and they come in 4 pillars or dimensions or 4 pegs. And they are financial, services, workforce, and growth. And not necessarily in that order. So it doesn't mean that we prioritize finances over service or, service over employees or whatever, but those are our 4 pegs. And then for each one of our performance excellent goals, because we want to be excellent, right? We don't want to be good or great. We want to be excellent. We want to be superior. Well, each of those then have strategies. How do we meet our financial goals? How do we deliver high quality, consistent services that our people want? How do we attract and retain a high caliber workforce and a high productive and efficient workforce? And how do we grow as an organization? Growth is always a little bit scary for some people because what does that actually mean? Does that mean we're going to be corporate, the C word? What does that actually mean? Does it mean we're going to be too big and the CEO or the COO is not going to know my name? So I know that those are things that can trigger in a person when they talk about growth. But businesses, companies, and organizations, we have to grow. And that doesn't necessarily always mean the bricks and mortars have to grow. Sometimes they do. We've got to add buildings or redo buildings or whatever. But it can also mean that our philanthropic portfolio grows. It can mean that our finance, our cash grows, our bank account grows, right? It can mean that we add services for you all. And that's growth. And so don't let growth scare you. Growth is a good thing. Hopefully you read my article in Intralinks about change and about growth. It's a good thing. Now, each one of these 4 pegs has a strategy. The strategy are in general 3 to 4 items for each peg. Again, remember I said we can't have 200 things that we're trying to do because there won't be anything done together. So we've got 3 to 4 items for each goal that we will strive towards in order to achieve these goals. And then we have the measures, and these are how we know that the strategies were effective and we are achieving our goals. Okay, so measures or metrics, and I'll give you some idea about that here in just a second. What about quality? I'm asked a lot about quality. Where does quality fit in this? Well, because we are surveyed in our health center on quality, right? That's pretty much the nuts and bolts of our star rating and how we get surveyed by the state of Oklahoma. You certainly want quality in the services that you receive, right? You want good food. You want high quality food. You want high quality service. You want high quality employees and leaders, right? And so where does quality fit in this? We had a lot of discussion about quality, both from the feedback that we generated through the consultants, through the strategic planning, the whole process. We had a lot of discussion about quality. And we don't think or feel that quality is its own kind of thing over here, standing on its own over here. We think and we know that quality is embedded throughout. We want to have quality financial services for you that are responsive, that are prudent, that are being good stewards. And so quality is embedded through that. We want to have quality in our services so that your experience is excellent. We want to have quality in our workforce so that people are retained, they show up to work, they're happy, they're satisfied, and precursor to the end here, they're courteous, right? So quality is weaving its way through all of our organizational goals. And then certainly want to have quality in the growth. We don't just want to grow to be growing. We want that to be very strategic and intentional. So that's the structure of our strategic plan. Then what happens? And Jacob, you can go ahead and advance here. So then what happens now? Well, the strategic plan was approved by our board of directors in the middle of December, and the executive leadership team is now part of our job as the executive leadership team. Actually, a big part of our job is to execute the strategic plan, to implement it and execute it. And what that entails is the next step of action planning. And so we as an executive leadership team, we immediately started on the action planning phase for the strategic plan right after it was approved in December. So some of the things on the action plan have already begun. And these would be things like making sure that we are strengthening our community partnerships with people. You know, that for example, churches. And making sure that we're being intentional about resourcing churches, so that not only do they know about us, but there's needs all throughout the churches, right? And we can meet some of those needs here at Trinity Woods. And so that is just a kind of a low-hanging example of something that's on our action plan to meet our strategy, but we've already started it. So Bonnie and I are scheduling those things. But we're in, so I would say we are probably, gosh, if I had to put a percentage to it, 70%, 65 to 70% completed with the action planning. But that doesn't mean we're not working, that work doesn't start until the action plan's done. We're already, you know, boots on the ground and foot on the gas pedal. But that's the phase that the leadership team is in. The really cool thing about this is there's a lot of symbiotic relationships between like fireside chats, these town hall sessions, member council sessions, feedback sessions, and things like that, that inform our action plan to carry out our strategic plan. And so it might feel like, gosh, he's got an action plan for the fireside chats, got an action plan for the strategic plan, he's got, you know, all of these different things. And in reality, those really all mesh together. So we utilize the information from fireside chats and different venues to inform our action plan. Go ahead and advance. So how does this affect you? Well, our hope, of course, is that the good things that you like about living here stay intact, right? And only enhance and advance. And that the areas where you feel we have opportunity are enhanced. So that's the hope. That's the hope. That's why we have a strategic plan. We want to always continue to have residents, right? So we have a strategic plan and figure out how to sustain a really good experience and a home-like experience here for you. But I want to submit to you and ask a different question. And I want to say, how do you affect the strategic plan? Because our organizational strategic plan should be very important to you all. And I know that it is because I hear from you all and I know you care about Trinity Woods. I know you want us to be successful. I know you want to be part of that success. And how we do that is to have a really solid, good strategic plan in place. So my encouragement for you is, and how you affect that is there's really no one way, but I'll give you a few nuggets to kind of chew on as you leave today. Well, one of those ways is you can just continue to be neighborly and to create a welcoming home-like environment, especially for new members as they come in. You all were once in that boat and it's difficult, it can be. But also for you all and those that have been here for a while, continuing to create a space where you're approachable, where you're collaborative, where you're not adversarial, where new people are welcome, where you invite others in and include them, where we're not a place of exclusion. That's one way, and that's a big way. That's a very, very big way. The other things that we can do is we can continue to give of our time, of our talent, and our treasure. And I've said that a lot this week in different settings. What does that mean? Well, you all are a very valuable asset to us in many, many, many ways. And one of those ways is the giving of your time. You have a lot of experience. It's very valuable in contributing to Trinity Woods. It's very diverse. And we have venues available for you to contribute in those ways. We've got councils, we've got committees, we've got focus groups that happen. We got ways in which you can volunteer. You can volunteer in the health center. There's all kinds of ways that you can do that. And that contributes to the carrying out of our mission and our strategic plan as we weave those things together. And certainly of our treasure. We know that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So the 3 T's, time, talent, treasure, that's something that we can all do, you can do, and continue to do. You do that very, very well here at Trinity Woods. That's something that you can continue to do to help us and help the organization move forward and continue to be successful. There's many other ways too, but I don't have time to give you all of it. So let's go to the next slide and we'll kind of start to land this plane a little bit. So if you held me hostage and said, you have to tell me what is the most important thing about a strategic plan and really about our organization. Well, certainly it feels kind of like a Sunday school answer. But it really is true. It's our mission, vision, values. We can have all of these nuts and bolts to a strategic plan and all these lofty goals and all of these things. But without a mission, without a vision, and without our values, it's going to be a little bit meaningless. And it'll be very difficult to carry out because we will not all be aligned and the employees will not all be aligned to that commonality and the common goal. So we have a very, very good mission and vision and values system already in place here. There was a lot of intentionality and a lot of people involved in that. Many of you were involved in that effort when that happened several years ago. But I want to, number one, review these today, and I want you to know and have confidence and sleep well at night that the mission, vision, and values are the integral part of the strategic plan. If they don't happen, we're not successful. So our mission is we want to continue to serve the Trinity Woods family in the spirit of Christ. I think you all do that very, very well. I think our leadership team does that well, but that is something that has to continue. And that's a marathon, not a sprint, right? You're never done. Our vision. What is our vision? Some of you may have never heard the vision or read it. I want to read it to you. We aspire to set a new standard for life plan community living by redefining aging. That is still very appropriate and relevant for us, especially as our population continues to change and their preferences change. We're seeing and I know that you know that this is true, but we've seen over a shift in the last decade or so, and this will just continue to perpetuate that people are not as concerned or interested in the clinical kind of institutional, right, mindset and environment. It's more about wellness, active aging, healthy aging, lifestyle. That's a term that you've heard. If you haven't heard, you will be hearing. So this is still a very relevant vision for us and something that we continue to need to lead the way to redefine what does it mean to age well, to age actively, and in community with each other. And then the values, we have 5: integrity, kindness, and inclusion, collaboration, and innovation. Very, very good values. I think that really kind of hits on everything that we need to be focused on in our day-to-day. Something that the values does for us that we may not have considered before is when an employee is faced with a challenge. Maybe it's a challenging family member, maybe it's a challenging customer, maybe it's a decision that needs to be made in how they carry out their daily service to you all. The values help them to make that decision in the moment. Is this unkind? Well, if it is, I probably shouldn't do it. Why? Because kindness is one of our values, right? Is this exclusive? Well, if it is, I probably shouldn't do it because inclusion is one of our values here. So you kind of start to see how do the values permeate, through the different areas of campus. What I want to leave you with, though, and this will be new for some of you, that what we don't want to forget about and what we also want to prioritize is our culture, which culture is a way of life. That's what culture means. And how do we enjoy our way of life here at Trinity Woods is by instituting and sustaining a culture. Okay, so if you'll advance to the next slide. Something that we are adding to our strategic plan is a culture statement, and this is what I'll leave you with. The culture statement says Trinity Woods is committed to providing a safe environment and living out a culture of courtesy in everything we do. So my summary thoughts for you are this. The culture of courtesy is something that Trinity Woods adopted several years ago, I think about 9 years ago, roughly. And initially it was implemented, I've said this before, amongst the member population. Okay, and that's important. And that we want to keep that intact, we want to keep that in place. We all have those days when we wake up on the wrong side of the bed. But in general, we want to live out a culture of courtesy amongst the member population. The opportunity I think that we missed, that we're seizing now, is to embed that and implement that culture amongst the employees. And we've started that. We started that back in the fall. And so we have introduced the culture of courtesy amongst the employees now. It is a part of their new hire training. It is a part of their departmental training. We've instituted management meetings now where anybody that leads a person that has a direct report, supervisor, manager, director, executive, we come together and we do a variety of different things in their team building, leadership development, safety training, all those things. But the standing agenda item is culture of courtesy, how we live out culture of courtesy. And then we as managers, we're tasked then with disseminating that in and throughout our departments and our employees. So culture of courtesy. And then the other thing that I think we do a great job here at Trinity Woods of, but I think it's worth calling out so that it stays in the frontal lobe up here, is safety. And you all have talked with me a lot about safety in a variety of different ways, whether it's bringing a safety concern to us, or gosh, does Trinity Woods prioritize safety? I mean, I've had lots of conversations about that with you all. So as an executive leadership team and as a board of directors, we want to call that out front and foremost, put our best foot forward. So the culture statement that includes safety does that for us. And so you all, your families, new employees, donors, constituents out there, they now know, even though we've always known we prioritize safety, they now know that we prioritize safety. And we're going to live out a culture of courtesy in the safest environment possible. So that's your strategic plan, 2025. So I hope you're as excited as I am about that. Thank you.
But Garrett, you want to mention the one-page aspect?
Sure. So the other thing that we did this year with our strategic plan is a strategic plan needs to be legible, readable, not something that's just tossed to the side because it's too long. And we had various components to our previous strategic plan, but it was about 6 to 7 pages long. And so what the task force really wanted to do is we wanted to condense and to consolidate that into a one-pager. And so that will be available. Bonnie is working very, very hard to produce something that looks really nice, that's branded with Trinity Woods, and that will be available to people who want or care about that. But thank you for reminding me of that. And so now you can get all of that in one quick read, okay? All right, so I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna answer some questions. I want to make sure Heidi, I know, is watching the people online. If you have a question, let me answer a few questions, and then we're getting close to our time. We want to leave some time for Andy. So yes, Mac. Let's wait for a microphone here.
That sounds good. So, some people. Meditation. But that takes time to do it. So I just wondered, how do we respond to that routine, which is mainly life? This is good for good.
Yeah.
How that related to our daily living.
Okay, that I can always count on a good comment from Dr. Matt Cannon. So here's what I would very quickly respond to that with, because there's a lot to unpack from that. Two things. One is a strategic plan is kind of like a budget in many ways. It's a roadmap, right? It's a guideline. And what it really does is it informs the people running this organization, primarily the executive leadership team, on what we should be working on. So if we're working on something meaningless over here that has nothing to do with organizational strategy or what the members want, things like that, probably not worth our time. And we're busy people, so we want to make sure that we are intentional and strategic about what the organization is focusing on. So that's the number one thing that I would say. So whether there's things in there that aren't new, you're right, we know we're good. We're gonna be, so, but we can always grow, we can always advance, we can always get better. The strategic plan just kind of informs us how to do that, okay? The second thing though is accountability, right? And so that's kind of an icky word, right? Nobody wants to be held accountable and told we need to do something differently, but we've got to have tools in place to do that. Well, one of the things that we're doing, one of the jobs of your board of directors is to hold me accountable and to hold the executive leadership team accountable. So this action plan will be reported upon now every quarter at the board of directors meeting. And so that's how we try to prevent the putting on the shelf and never doing anything with. So it's a roadmap, it's a guideline that informs how we spend our time here, which affects your experience, and it's an accountability tool for us to make sure we get things done. What else we got? Right here.
These are all great ideas, but also in strategic planning, doesn't this including, further development, plans for the community? For instance, Dartmouth or things for the campus improvements?
Yep, so one of the measures, that's a great question. Did everybody hear that? Where is development and growth? So that's in that growth pillar. And two of the things that are on the action plan for the growth pillar are that our goal is to present a master site plan to the board by the end of the year. Now, that doesn't mean we're implementing it by the end of the year, but it means we want to develop a master site plan. What is that? That means, what do we want to do with current infrastructure, current buildings? So the health center, for example, that anything that we would want to do to that would be on the master site plan that we would present and propose to the board. What do we want to do with Dartmoor? Because that's part of our site, right? We own that land. That would also be on a master site plan. The second component of that, though, Howard, is with growth I mentioned it earlier with our philanthropic portfolio. And so the other plan that we're going to be presenting to the board, and there's one or two board members here, so get ready, is also a master growth plan. And so those are two very, very different things, but that's my answer to your question is those are in the growth goal. And the growth plan will be, yes, we want to develop bricks and mortars, refresh current buildings, build something. That's master planning as part of the strategic plan, but we also want a growth plan that would be how can we increase our current funds, right? Current Good Samaritan Fund, how can we get more people excited and involved in the Tin Society and those funds, legacy giving, and then what other opportunities are out there that we're not currently doing? What other grant opportunities are available that we haven't applied for, right? What other community partnership or cost sharing or whatever? That's all part of the growth plan, and that's part of that growth plan. Good question. Yes, sir.
We really appreciate the chance with Garrett. And we had a very good one yesterday. I think that was your first one, or second?
Fireside chat.
Yes,
Yeah, that was the second one for this week. Yeah.
chance with Garrett. Yeah, which will be calling it.
Gather with Garrett.
Gather with Garrett. Okay. How do you take what's shared there and apply it to?
Can I take that down? Or if it's gonna project onto the projector? It wants feed.
He's one concern here, which many of us have. that
Yeah, and
we would
it'll show
need
light
to
shark up there.
hold Be a nurse available. to you. And. So. how do we think-
I'll come back.
Well,
And show you.
the executive leadership team meets every Monday. We meet together every Monday, and these are the things that we talk about and go over. And so when we go over our action plans, we put status updates on them. And so, things that come out of the fireside chats, you know, if it's a work order, it's probably not gonna make it onto a strategic plan action item, right? We're just gonna put the work order in and get it done. If it's a little bit more strategic, like something like that would be, that's the venue where we talk about those types of things. And then what we do is when we complete something, we change the status. If this has been completed. If it's something that we can't do or we're not going to do, we put that on there. And then now when the last two gather with Garrett's or fireside chats that we've had, that's why I'm starting those out now and giving the feedback and the highlights of what came out of the previous fireside chats. So, and then the other thing that can be on the statuses is it's just in progress. It's not that we're not going to do it. It's not that we've completed it yet, right? But it's in progress. It's in discovery. We're doing research on it, whatever the case may be, or it has budgetary implications. And so it's tabled for now. So those are kind of the status, but that's where we do that. Every Monday, that's where we do that. Good question. Anybody online? Okay, sure.
I just wanted to say that, the planning sounds wonderful, but for example, I live in assisted living, and I don't always hear about, like, the meetings that you already have to do. And I think that sometimes assisted living is overlooked because I don't know why. And there's some of us that are very interested in what's going on. And we don't seem to have much input about what's going on. We're not on committees, we're not on this, that, the other. And I just wanted to please get the information so that we know about the meetings that we already had.
Yeah, good call out. And I think the committee thing is a good takeaway for me, just to file up here, Shirley. I will say, I also do a separate, I do a fireside chat with Parliament, and it's scheduled for next week. So if you've not seen that yet or signed up for that, it's available for you. It has not happened yet. Okay, so those are the ones I do specifically there. The assisted living also has its own resident council. And so I encourage, you know, anybody who lives in assisted living to take advantage of that opportunity as well. But I will keep that. I'm sorry that we've made you feel that assisted living is sometimes forgotten. That is definitely not our intention. The executive leader of assisted living in the health center is on the ELT and at the meetings every Monday. So we can try to be more intentional about that. Thank you. We got one more. Okay, I'm gonna come down and see you because I want Andy Ewing to come up and finish this out. Because we're past time, but I've got you, okay? All right. Bonnie? I did the announcements before you got here. I do want to do the treasure chest. Thank you for the reminder on that. Sorry, Andy, hang on one second for me. You look good standing up there, so. All right, so Bonnie wanted to have us look at this and appreciate this. So for 2024, the treasure chest, which is member-led, resident-led, provided $20,095 of support to the Good Samaritan Fund. So we need to celebrate that. And then you can see since its inception or since 2012, generated $125,000. So that's a big deal for us. And I just want to call out, I won't embarrass you, but if you're one of the treasure chest volunteers or people that lead that, can you stand up or just raise your hand? Yeah, stand up. Okay, I need to stand up. You guys, stand up and be recognized. Blue, Phil, yeah, everybody. So thank you. God bless you. Really appreciate that. Keep that good work up. Okay, does anybody know this guy? All right, Andy Ewing.
Thank you. Let's go to the slide that talked about, what we did with our, there. Okay. This is an employee appreciation party. There were two of these. One at 30 in the morning, started at 6:30, and the other one in the afternoon. And I'm telling you, the folks the employees, they had a wonderful time at the party. You can see different pictures and so forth. Just the people at work had a good time and all of the employees. And let's go to the next one. Okay, this is a campus appreciation of participation. Crestwood is 90, Feldhouse is 94, Patio Homes 95, Village 97, Hollywood 73, and the leadership team at 100%. Overall, a total of 93%. Now, I want to come back and this felt. This Howard Road took on the responsibility of calling on all of the Feldhouse residents. And he did an absolutely fabulous job of getting those folks to participate. And I do and just admire Howard for what he did there. Let's go on one more slide, please. Okay, this is the donors. There were 248 residents that donated. An average gift was $483. And the committee, there were 62 volunteers on the committee. Now, the employee appreciation gifts. There were 203 checks to employees, and the average check was $385. Then the nice thing was that 78% of all the employees came to the party and participated at the party. So it was a wonderful event. I want to thank all of the volunteers that worked on it. We did a great job. I want to acknowledge Raleigh Rose and Donald Jackson for co-chairing with me. And I want to thank everybody that donated. It was a good year. Thank you so much.
All right, well, I've talked a lot today and said a lot of words, so thank you for enduring that. And I'll just end by saying this. I've been involved in a part of a lot of employee appreciation parties, Christmas parties for the employees over the years in various places. And this was by far the best. All right. Okay. God bless you all. Have a great weekend. Stay warm. Watch the weather. Thank you.